What's up guys? Welcome to AnimeKouhai. If you'd like to help me out, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel.
His anger was justified. He and his team were being used as test subjects for these new weapons. Though a direct hit wouldn't kill him outright, the pain was undeniable, and the constant assault was draining him mentally. If this continued, exhaustion would set in, even for him. There was no convenient barrier that could nullify everything, and Rimuru had designed the traps to be effective against even the strongest. But it was Ramirez's power that made Rimuru's plan truly devastating. Why would there be a blast furnace in the labyrinth? Under normal circumstances, such a thing would be unthinkable, but with Ramirez's intervention, anything was possible. And now, it was unfolding right before their eyes.
It's back! What the hell? What's going on?
Pico and Gracia yelled out in unison.
Ramirez should have had enough of this by now.
Dino's frustration boiled over as he voiced his complaint.
I'm sorry. I didn't see this coming.
Mai, ever serious, quickly retracted her earlier confidence and offered an apology. Dino, however, had a sinking feeling from the start. The moment he heard a golem would be waiting for them, he knew trouble was brewing. And, as usual, his instincts had been spot on. The golem, which had dissolved into particles, suddenly reappeared, fully restored and in perfect condition. Worse yet, its numbers had grown. Without hesitation, Ramirez had rolled out newer models and experimental prototypes.
You're really pushing it, Ramirez.
The group shouted in exasperation as they poured all their energy into fending off the relentless assault. Within Ramirez's domain, her creations were granted virtual immortality. Even inorganic beings like the golems were no exception, elevating their threat level far beyond what anyone had expected. It wasn't until Dino faced them firsthand that he truly grasped the scale of Ramirez's abilities. Her intrinsic skill, labyrinth creation, was nothing short of a miracle, or a nightmare, depending on which side you were on. The sheer impossibility of it all left Dino questioning how someone with such overwhelming power had been allowed to remain unchecked for so long.
Hey, looks like things have finally calmed down.
Yeah, naturally. Once the supplies run out, the attacks stop.
Dino let out a relieved sigh, and Gracia nodded in agreement. They had been battling for 3 exhausting hours, but there was no sign of the golem coming back. Even with Ramirez's powers, missiles and bullets couldn't regenerate. If they could, creating an infinite energy engine would have been child's play, but thankfully, that wasn't the case. Dino's strategy to isolate the golem's power had worked.
I'm so wiped out. If Mai hadn't spotted that power unit, we'd probably still be stuck fighting. That's only because Dino-san gave such clear instructions.
Dino's plan was simple but effective. Separate the golem's power source and move it out of the labyrinth. The spirit core, which powered the golem, could generate endless energy as long as it was supplied with magicules. If the core hadn't been removed, as Pico pointed out, they would have been trapped in an endless battle. Luckily, Mai's powerful spatial domination ability had made the plan a success. Through the chaos, Dino, Mai, and the rest of the group had started to understand each other better. Despite the grueling mission, there was a sense of accomplishment among them. Dino glanced over at Vega, who was sitting with an unusually serious expression. They were defending this area because Vega had given the order. He had declared,
"Listen up. I'm here to claim the power of this labyrinth. The connection weakens as we move through the levels, so I'll handle setting it up while you guys take care of the boss."
It was a plan Dino had doubted from the start, but shutting it down before it even began wasn't an option. Vega wouldn't listen anyway. So, reluctantly, everyone had agreed to follow through, even if they were practically forced into it. The latest trouble they faced could be squarely blamed on Vega. Dino didn't bother hiding his frustration as he addressed him directly.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
Vega replied lazily, barely opening his eyes.
So.
He stretched and stood up, his casual tone grating on Dino's nerves.
I've realized something. My power isn't effective against inorganic things.
Dino's irritation flared as Vega nonchalantly dropped this bombshell.
Oh, so you're saying everything we just did was pointless?
Dino's voice sharpened. They had spent 3 grueling hours on this, only for Vega, who barely lifted a finger, to dismiss their efforts. Completely oblivious to Dino's rising anger, Vega continued explaining his grand idea.
The different levels of the labyrinth disrupt the control of my magical bacteria. Each level acts like its own entity. But if I cover the entire labyrinth with my power right as you enter, everyone inside will become my food. Genius, right?
Vega spoke with smug confidence, ignoring how self-serving his plan sounded. While Dino wanted to lash out at him for being inconsiderate, he held back. As frustrating as Vega's attitude was, Dino couldn't deny there was some merit to what he was saying.
Okay, but let me ask you this. If you cover it with your bacteria, can we teleport straight inside?
Teleport? Nah, that's impossible.
Vega's confident tone was infuriating. Mai, however, stepped in with her own input, backing up Vega's explanation.
As Vega said, I don't think it's feasible. The inside of a living organism is nearly impossible to pinpoint for coordinates.
Mai elaborated further, explaining that calculating coordinates in a constantly shifting space like the labyrinth was a near impossible task. While teleporting out might be hard, teleporting back in was even trickier. Dino couldn't help but smile at the turn of events.
It's great that we can avoid surprise attacks from those in our way. Even if the monster we beat ends up as bait, it could stop the enemy from escaping. That's its own kind of advantage.
Dino wasn't a fool. If something made his life easier, he was quick to spot the most practical way forward. If they supplied more food here, Vega could gather enough energy to summon additional evil dragon spawn, making things less of a hassle for Dino and the rest. In Ramirez's labyrinth, Rimuru allies had the advantage of easy teleportation. Vega's idea, though flawed for the current level, could be much more effective on the next. Dino summed up his thoughts and decided to roll with the plan. Vega, the mastermind behind this scheme, was thrilled by Dino's assessment.
Ah, great, great. Dino, you've got it all figured out. With me here, conquering this place will be a breeze.
As if his ego hadn't been inflated enough, he added smugly.
Alright, I'll just sit back while you carry me. And no, don't even think about tapping me on the shoulder.
All right, quit bragging and bring out your evil dragon spawn already, will you?
Oh, don't worry. I'll take care of the labyrinth's control on the next level, and you can deal with the rest, okay?
Dino gave a resigned nod, ready to go along with Vega's plan if it meant a smoother path forward. Pico and Gracia didn't raise any objections as long as Dino was on board, while Mai silently complied. And just like that, the once unclear strategy for navigating the labyrinth had solidified into a tangible plan. Dino and his team were disappointed when they reached the 61st level. Pico and Gracia turned to Dino, voicing their confusion.
The enemy suddenly vanished. What was the point of that whole assault? Weren't there supposed to be a ton of dead spirits from here on down?
Yeah, you're right. But it doesn't look like there are any lower level monsters around.
Even Mai seemed surprised by the lack of activity.
Could they really be scared of me? What's the point of running the hierarchy if they're too afraid to show up?
He sighed, then added another possibility.
Or maybe they all went to intercept the Gruel.
Mai raised an eyebrow, clearly intrigued.
Wait, seriously? How many monsters did they take with them?
As an expert in spatial transportation, Mai was curious about how much of a force could be moved at once.
Probably around 10 million, give or take.
Mai's eyes widened in shock.
10 million. Is that even possible?
Dino shrugged, clearly unconcerned.
If anyone could do it, Adelman could. He'd just summon dead spirits to make it work.
He said it casually, like it was no big deal, but Mai's expression grew more alarmed.
Using the leftover monsters in the labyrinth as an army? That sounds like cheating.
Cheating? Nah, it's just a strategy I wouldn't have thought of.
Dino brushed it off. Meanwhile, Pico and Gracia were deep in their own discussion about the situation, treating it as if it were someone else's problem entirely.
Don't ask me. If you've got issues with it, take it up with Rimuru.
He sighed in exasperation, wishing he didn't have to deal with any of this. With no enemies in sight and plenty of time on their hands, Dino and the others exchanged lighthearted banter as they moved forward. Before long, they arrived at the monster-infested 71st level.
Oh, great. Zijin's here.
Dino muttered, clearly annoyed. Surrounded by crawling bugs, it was no surprise the king of insects himself was nearby. Dino couldn't shake the bitter feeling of defeat, knowing the outcome was already decided.
Alright then, stick to the plan and do your best.
Yeah, sure. I'll try my best.
Vega, as carefree as ever, approached Dino, who replied with deliberate nonchalance. Deep down, Dino thought that if winning wasn't possible, he might as well let Vega do as he pleased. Vega began his assault on the labyrinth as planned. He started by breaking down his own cells into microscopic fragments, creating demonic bacteria. Slowly but methodically, he spread a thin layer of the bacteria along the labyrinth's walls. Dino considered suggesting they release the evil dragon spawn first, but it seemed Vega couldn't handle both tasks at once. Either he was overestimating himself, or his abilities weren't as limitless as he thought. If Vega focused on the evil dragon spawn, he'd likely deplete his energy entirely.
Well, there's no other choice. Let's hunt some bugs and feed them to Vega.
I'm in. Me too.
With that, the group set up a temporary base, protecting Vega while they began hunting the labyrinth's insect monsters to replenish his energy. Meanwhile, Vega stayed behind, oblivious to the true potential of his power. His ultimate skill, Evil Dragon King Azidahaka, was on the brink of evolving into something far beyond his understanding. On the 71st floor, in a small, dimly lit room, Vega sat cross-legged in Zazen meditation. This wasn't the first time he'd done this routine on different levels, but this time, his focus was razor-sharp. With renewed determination, Vega unleashed his authority. As expected, his efforts to invade the labyrinth yielded little visible progress. After all, Evil Dragon King Azidahaka was designed to manipulate organic matter, which was ineffective against the labyrinth's abstract, conceptual nature. Ramirez's creation wasn't bound by physical laws, making it impervious to Vega's bacteria. Yet Vega's understanding of his own power was dangerously incomplete. He believed his ultimate skill could only control organic matter. But the truth was, the power resided deep within him, tied directly to the essence of his being. The bacteria he was spreading came from his own body, the very source of the evil dragon spawn. Vega had unknowingly set the stage for a new evolution, one that could tip the balance in his favor, if he survived long enough to harness it. The true strength of Evil Dragon King Azidahaka lies in its ability to absorb the power of whatever it consumes. If direct absorption wasn't possible, Vega could rely on skill absorption to drain energy instead. The optimal strategy for dealing with the labyrinth should have been to use skill absorption instead of organic domination. But Vega, caught up in his excitement, ignored the logical approach. In his eagerness to flaunt his power to Dino and the others, he unleashed everything he had without following the usual cautious steps. Normally, he restrained himself to conserve energy, but this time, he wanted to prove his worth.
A big thanks to the AnimeKouhai patrons who made this video possible. Jared Bressler, Speed Saber, Curtis Loban, Judah Herrera, Just a Guy, Nissa L.W. Hernandez, Jason Martin, Zach Rosen, Jerry Sladek, Ray Perez, Jay, Donald Williams, Day of Light, John M, Godman Gaming, Markithian Tidwell, Adrian, Kumo, T. Bush, Kirisoto Sama, JV, Thomas, Joshua Cousins, Jose Hernandez, Khalid, Christian Deshazer, Divine C. Harris, Montyboy 98, Ruben, Yuki Iki, Gray, Isaac, Koala King 93, Quilly Buckner, Alver, Normal Defate, Joshua Andrade, Gary Miles, Dragon Spawn 666, J. Rule, Nate, Leiron Sangkap, Lucas Guet, Jason Martin, Sky T, Andre Hamilton, Martin Ramos, Emperor WSA, Miko Espinosa, George Hage, Gobi Lin, Pratik Bandari, Faiz Mansour, Jackson Early, Carl Stephen Bernadal, Gareth Hashimoto, Steven Madison, Marl Barsha, Ralph Ignacio, Efrain Hernandez, Luca Gaming WTF, William Locke, Kamal Luke, Akshay Devate, Elvin Quarty, Ian Sikibiol, Thanakorn Lee Sawat, KACP9R, The Harv, Drayden Yamauchi, Joshua Wolf. Thank you so much for helping out. I'll see you guys in the next video.